Everyone, I'm Alan Powell from the Essex Bridge Center, and welcome. This is our second week of 9 weeks on Play of the Hand. Today we're going to be talking about the dangerous opponent and how to avoid him. But first, let's talk about a couple of card combinations on the opening lead. We're going to do some of those every week at the start and carry them through the examples. So in this example, this is a common situation. The opening leader has made an opening lead of the Queen of Diamonds. And we are in possession of the Ace and the King and even the 10, right? So the opening lead of the Queen of Diamonds gives us some information, right? We expect that West will have the Jack to back that up, right? And if it's a no trump contract, we even expect them probably to have the 9, maybe a broken sequence, right? Suit contract, top of touching honors, Queen Jack. We're not expecting anything else. No trump, you expect a little more, but still the 9 because we're looking at the Ace, the King, and the 10. All right. So what do we do in this circumstance? What we want to do is we want to take advantage of the fact that we know where the Jack is, right? And try and turn our 2 tricks, the Ace and the King, into 3 tricks. Okay. So what is the right play here? We're going to play the 2 from dummy, and we're going to win the King in our hand, and that will preserve our Ace and 10 in dummy behind West's Jack, right? You don't want to play the Ace from dummy here because then the Jack is behind your King, right? So understanding the position of in front of, behind, and what's finessable and what's not finessable is an important part of bridge, and it's an important way to understand particular card combinations. So looking at actual cards here, West leads the Queen, right? We can see he's at Queen Jack 9. We correctly play the 2 from dummy. East plays the 5, and we win the King. And now West still has the Jack 9 of diamonds, right? But we have the Ace 10 behind him. So you can play the 3 and whatever West chooses. If he plays the 9, you win the 10, right? If he plays the 4, you win the 10. If he plays the Jack, you win the Ace and your 10 is good. In all circumstances, when West has the Jack here to go with his Queen, you can, in fact, take 3 diamond tricks, right? If you do it incorrectly, if you play Queen and you win the Ace first because you're impatient and you need to get the dummy, you will win the Ace and you can still win the King, but the Jack is now behind your King, right? You can't, if you lead away from the King, if you lead the 8, West will win the Jack. If you play the King, West will not play the Jack. So understanding in front of, behind, and position and all that is very important in bridge, right? So that's a very common example here of when the opening lead is from the Queen, guaranteeing the Jack, and therefore sometimes you can get an extra trick as declare. This next case is the same similar situation, but not the same situation in that you are still missing both the Queen and the Jack. But in some circumstances, if the opponents lead the suit, if West leads the suit, he leads the 5, it is possible for you in a large number of scenarios for you to take 3 tricks here, right? The most likely scenario here is that the Queen and the Jack are split between the 2 hands, right? There's 2 honors out there, Queen and Jack. And as we saw last week when we were dealing with the double finesse and things like that, when there are 2 honors out against you, there's 4 possibilities, right? One possibility is West has the Queen and the Jack together, right? The other possibility, 2 and 3, they're split, right? Queen in one hand, Jack in the other, or Jack in one hand and Queen in the other. And the last possibility is that East has both, right? So there's a good chance that you'll have cases 1, 2, and 3, right? 3 out of 4 chances, right? 1 out of 4, you'll end up with the last case, case 4 there. You will find that in cases 1, 2, and 3, you can still get 3 tricks here, right? So in case 1, West has both the Queen and the Jack of diamonds, right? So in that case, East doesn't have a higher diamond. So you play the 2 from dummy. East plays a diamond lower than the 9 because he doesn't have the Queen or Jack. You win the 9, you still have the ace king bonus, right? Extra trick. In case 2, East plays you play the 2 from dummy, East plays the jack, right? You win the king, and your ace 10 are over West's queen, right? In case 2, the honors are split between the 2 hands, queen in West, jack in East. Well, the 9 forces the jack, and the queen gets finessed. Case 3, it's the reverse, right? East plays the queen, declare wins the king, but now the jack gets finessed through the ace 10, right? Because in cases 2 and 3, the honors are split between the 2 hands, right? So, you know, we like to refer to this in bridge as playing for split honors because it is the most likely possibility. Case 4, well, East is going to play either the queen or jack. He's got both, right? And that'll force the king, and then his other honor is going to be behind your ace, right? What you want to avoid here is you don't want to play the ace from dummy at trick 1, because if you play the ace and it doesn't take an honor, then the queen and the jack are out there, right? And they're equals against your king, and you cannot succeed here, okay? So looking at actual cards here, case number 1, West has led the 4th best from his queen jack. Now, against the suit contract, he would have led the queen, and we would have been dealing with the case of example 1, right? He would have led the queen from queen jack. But in a no trump contract, instead of just having 2 touching honors, you're supposed to have a sequence, right? Queen jack 10, queen jack 9, broken sequence, ace queen jack, something like that. And if you don't have one of those 3 card sequences or broken sequences, you lead your 4th best. So against a no trump contract, West would lead the 4 of diamonds here. And again, dummy plays the 2, East plays the 8, declare wins the king, and wins the king and the ace. So 3 tricks, right? Case 1, easiest thing. East can't play a high card. You don't have to worry about it. Case 2. So the honors are split here, right? This is our first case of split honors. So West leads the 4, dummy plays the 2. East is forced to play the jack, because if East plays the 6, declare wins the 9, and we're back in case 1, right? Win the 9, win the ace, win the king, 3 tricks. But East is forced to play the king. Declare wins the king. But now Declare still has the ace 10 and dummy over West's queen. So when the honors are split, the jack is forced on the first trick. Then Declare plays the 3. West plays the 5. Dummy plays the 10. It wins. The ace wins. That's 3 tricks for the Declare, right? Case 3, same thing, different cards, right? Split honors. The honors are split between the 2 hands. So West leads the 4, dummy plays the 2. East is forced to play the queen for the same reason as the previous example. Declare wins the king, and now that jack gets finessed by the ace 10. So Declare plays the 3, West plays the 5, dummy plays the 10, and the ace wins the 3rd trick, right? So when the opponents play first here and the honors are split, or both honors are in the hand that made the opening lead, you can take 3 tricks. It's not all roses, though. There is one failing case, right? And that is when East has both the queen and the jack together, in which case when West plays the 4, you play the 2, East plays the jack, and you win your king. And then since you're hoping that the honors are split, you're hoping that West, in fact, has the other honor. Declare would play the 3, West would play the 4, dummy would play the 10, and East would win his queen, right? You can't stop East from taking a trick here. And you can only get your ace king. So when both of the cards are in East in this circumstance, nothing you can do about it, right? But 3 out of the 4 cases, you get a second trick. 1 out of the 4 cases, you get a 3rd trick, sorry. 3 out of the 4 cases, you get a 3rd trick. 1 out of the 4 cases, you do not get a 3rd trick, right? However, if you play the ace on the first round, if you do not play low on the first round, if you do not let that 9 force an honor from East, then you're never going to be successful here, right? If your ace does not take an honor from the defense, or your king does not take an honor from the defense, you will not be able to take a 3rd trick. So in this case, if West plays a 4 and dummy pops up with the ace, West still has the queen jack, Declare has the king, and so no matter what you do, West is going to win the trick, right? His queen will force out your king. His jack will then take the next trick. Nothing you can do about it. So your ace went on nothing, right? If you pop up with the ace here, you leave the queen jack in the West's hand, or even if the honors are split, if you pop up with the ace, And east has the jack and west is the queen. Same thing, equals against the king, and you cannot take a third trick, right? So those are a couple of common situations where you need to be able to take advantage of the opening lead, right? Their opening lead in this suit has actually given you a trick in both example 1 and example 2. And you need to take advantage of that, right? All the tricks that the defense is willing to give you, you should be happy to take. So let's move on to the main event, which is the dangerous opponent. So there may come a time in your when playing a hand when losing the lead to one specific opponent, either east or west, or north or south if you're sitting east-west, will result in the defense taking too many tricks. So one opponent out there is what we call dangerous, right? So if you lose the lead to that opponent, bad things will happen to you, right? He'll be able to take tricks, or he'll be able to lead through you or something. So it does follow that if only one opponent is dangerous, the other one is not. So our goal is to understand which one is dangerous and we don't want to let on lead, and which one is not, that we can let on lead, right? Because you're going to have to lose tricks at times, and choosing which way to lose them might be a good option. If both your opponents are dangerous, you probably should just take your tricks and not give up the lead, right? So why is an opponent dangerous, right? There's two main situations where an opponent is dangerous. First of all, the dangerous opponent has extra winners to take, right, if he gains the lead. So let's say, your winner's sitting on a pile of spades, right? Your west is sitting on a pile of spades. Well, you don't want west to get on lead to lead his pile of spades, right? But if you let east on lead, he doesn't have any spades, so therefore he can't take any, right? So the opponent who is sitting on extra winners is going to be the dangerous opponent, right? Their partner, if they can't lead to them, they're not dangerous. The other situation, right, and this is again why it's important to understand position and who plays last and whatever, and what's a stopper and how to lead through things. A dangerous opponent can lead through your honors in a specific suit, right? If you're sitting with the king of spades and the ace queen are behind your king, you cannot afford your opponent to play through your ace king. You can let him lead up to your ace king, but not through your ace king, right? So it stands to reason that if one of them can lead through you, the other one has to lead to you, and therefore is not dangerous, right? And we'll look at examples of that to try and make it a little clearer. Okay. Understanding which opponent is dangerous and which is not is important to your plan, because sometimes you will be able to make a choice in your plan as to who is going to gain the lead. You might have an option. You can let this hand on lead. You can let that hand on lead. And understanding which of one of them will hurt to gain the lead, if you give them the lead, is important, right? So today we're going to try and study, first of all, we're going to try and identify which opponent is dangerous, and then we're going to try and avoid giving them the lead, right? So, for example, in this case, West leads the king of the suit, right? King, queen, jack. It's a normal lead, right? Let's assume we're probably playing a no trump here, right? So the opening lead is the king, right? And let's say you as declarer opt not to win the first one, not to win the second one, but you opt to win the third trick, right? So they lead the king, you let it win. They lead the queen, you let it win. They lead the jack, you win the ace. In which case, there are only two cards left in the suit, the 8 and the 7, right? And they're both sitting in West's hand. Now, that play of waiting to take your ace is what we call a hold-up play, right? You're holding up the ace until the third round, and that's what we're going to talk about next week, right? But by executing this particular play, you can see that we've exhausted East of all of his cards in the suit, right? West is the only one with cards in the suit, and he has winners. So therefore, West is your dangerous opponent here. If you let West on lead, he's going to take that 8 and that 7, right? If you let East on lead, he's going to have to play a different suit because he doesn't have any of that suit. So you can safely lose the lead to East, right? Because he can't take the winners. West is the dangerous opponent, right? So next week we're going to deal with the hold-up play, right? Another situation here, West leads the 7, right? Is fourth best. Dummy plays the 2. East plays the king, right? Third hand high. That's what East should do. And if you, as declarer, win the ace, you still have the jack. And that jack has some power, but it depends on who ends up on lead, right? The position on the right here, we've played the king and the ace, right? Our jack and our 5 are underneath that queen and that 10. So looking at this, if East were to gain the lead, East plays the 9, right? If you play your jack, the queen wins. If you play low, the 9 wins or the 10 wins, and the remainder of the suit is winners, right? So East is the dangerous opponent, because if East gets on lead, East will lead through your jack, right, into the queen 10, and that will in fact take all of the rest of the tricks. On the other hand, if you let West on lead here, West has to play first to the trick, and therefore US South play last, right? So if West plays the queen, you will play your 5. And your jack is now high, right? And if West plays a lower one, well, then you'll be able to win your jack. So because of the position, because you play last, if West is on lead, West is not dangerous to you, right? West would have to give you a trick in order to play this suit. East, absolutely dangerous, because that jack is going to get swallowed by the queen 10. US South want to play last to any trick, right? You can safely lose the lead to West. East is dangerous. Another example, and this one is similar. So West leads the 6, fourth best, right? Dummy plays low. East plays the 10, and you can win either the king or the queen. They're both good, right? But let's say you win the queen. Who is your dangerous opponent? Well, looking at the position over here on the right, we see we have a similar situation. We have the king, right? But it is vulnerable to the ace jack. So in this case, if East gains the lead, he leads through our king, right? Through the ace jack here, right? And we never took another trick in the suit. East is the dangerous opponent. West, however, can't do anything to you, right? If West is on lead, if he plays the ace, you don't play your king, right? And then your king will win the next trick. If he plays a little one, well, you win your king. Either way, if West plays the suit, you're covered, right? You have a stopper, and West would have to give you a winner in order to play the suit. East dangerous, West not dangerous, okay? So those are examples of opening leads where we were able then to determine who was the dangerous opponent based on what was left after the opening lead and stuff like that. But it may be a situation where you have a vulnerable suit and you do not want the lead to come from a specific hand. For instance, if you were sitting with only the king, such as this example here, right? I have 3 little cards in north. I have the king in my hand, right? If West had the ace, the opponents would be able to trap my king, right? It could go queen by East, king, ace, and poof, no tricks for me, right? On the other hand, so East would be my dangerous opponent here because East can lead through my king, right? If West were on lead, my king stands up, right? If West is on lead, he can play the ace. I won't play my king. He plays a little one, and I will get to play last. If East plays the ace, I still won't play my king. If East plays low, I can win my king. So understanding that position, understanding what could go wrong, what can go right, which hand you want on lead is an important part of identifying your dangerous opponent. So in this circumstance, this isn't a suit they led. This is a situation that in the hand, I have a suit with a flaw in it here, right? I have a weak spot. And my king is only protected if West is on lead, and it is vulnerable if East is on lead. Ergo, East is the dangerous opponent. In this situation, now I have the ace, so I'm not, super vulnerable here, but my queen is vulnerable in that I would prefer that West were not on lead, because if West is on lead, West leads the jack. And then if I play the queen, king covers it, right? I win the ace. I don't have the 10. I don't have the 9. I don't have any more tricks, right? So if West is on lead to lead the jack, my queen gets swallowed by East's king, right? On the other hand, if East is on lead, if East plays a low card in the suit, I can play low for my ace. West would play the 9 and my queen would win in dummy, right? If East played the king, I could win the ace and my queen would be good in dummy. One way or another, if East is forced to play this suit, I might have to lose a trick, but I am guaranteed a second trick if East leads it. But if West leads it, I'm not guaranteed one. Now, in some of these circumstances, the king could be in the right place here. If the king was in West, I'd always have 2 tricks, right? But if the king is in East, I only want East to be on lead. On the previous example, if the king is behind my ace, yeah, then I'm vulnerable. If the king is in front of my ace, then I always have a trick no matter what, right? So when you're dealing with dangerous opponent in these circumstances, there may be scenarios where they're not actually dangerous to you, but you're playing for what could go wrong, right? And what could go wrong is the ace could be in the wrong place, the king could be in the wrong place. So when you're identifying your dangerous opponent, it may not be that you have to lose a trick, right? It may be that the cards are favorable, but you should still be careful. Okay. So here, I don't want West on lead because my queen will get trapped. Okay. I can let East on lead because then my queen would play last and I could guarantee 2 tricks if they played this suit. This last example, you're not in any particular danger here, are you? Right? You have the ace, you have the king, you got the jack to go with it. But the idea still applies. If somebody was going to lead this suit, you would want it to be West, because if West leads the suit, you can play low from dummy and your king jack play last, and you can guarantee a 3rd trick in this suit, right? On the other hand, if East plays the suit, he plays the 2, you play the jack, it's covered by the queen, you get your ace, you get your king, you only get 2 tricks. Again, you're not in danger here, but if you have a situation where you have a choice and you can lose the lead to one side or the other, you would lose the lead to West, because maybe West will do something to help you. Maybe he'll switch to this suit. Maybe he'll give you a present of the jack, trying to find a trick in his partner's hand. So it's not a weakness. It's not a danger in this particular case, but it is still putting the right person on lead, who, if they play the suit, will help you, right? So it's the same idea. It's not necessarily danger, right? All right. So now that we've identified the dangerous opponent, let's think about avoiding the dangerous opponent, right? So we want to avoid giving the lead to a specific opponent. There might be different ways that we can choose which opponent can win a trick if we choose it, right? In that, we studied one last week where we were trying to decide which way to take a 2-way finesse, and we were thinking about the bidding and whatever another. And I said there might be other factors, and one of the factors is one of your opponents dangerous? Because in this case, when you have a 2-way finesse, you can take the finesse so that only one opponent can win the trick, right? And maybe the finesse wins, maybe it doesn't win. But what you do is you put yourself in a position where if it loses to the right person who is not dangerous, right? So let's say on this case, I assumed West was dangerous. So I don't want West to gain the lead. So I would finesse West, right? And I would possibly lose to East. So I would start with the king for my hand. And then after that one, I'd always play it on honor first to see if there's a single and queen, right? And then I play the 10. West plays low. I play low from dummy. And East, in this case, wins the queen, because finesses only win 50% of the time. But since West was my dangerous opponent, I have lost the trick to the person who can't hurt me, right? So if East is non-dangerous, okay, I'd rather win the finesse. But if I'm going to lose the finesse, I want to lose the finesse to the person who can't hurt me. On the other hand, if East were dangerous, I would do it in reverse, right? I would cash the ace from dummy and I would finesse East so that only West could win the trick. I'd play the jack. East would play low. I'd play low for my hand. In this case, the finesse wins, bonus, right? But even if it lost, it would lose to the person who doesn't hurt me, right? I lose to the non-dangerous opponent. I finesse the dangerous opponent, right? So a two-way finesse. One of the reasons for picking which way you're going to do it can be which opponent you want to avoid gaining the lead, right? Another type of avoidance play here. Looking at this suit, I have 8 cards in the suit, and I have the ace and the king, right? And I'm missing the queen and the jack. And unfortunately, because there's 5 of them out there, I'm going to have to lose one, right? But I can choose which one I lose to, right? By how I play the cards. Okay. So since I'm going to lose a trick, right, I want to make sure that I lose it to the right person. Let's arbitrarily say that East is the dangerous opponent. I don't want East to gain the lead. So what I could do here is I could play the 3 from North, right? East plays the 4. I play something higher than the 4. Could be the 5, could be the 9. Doesn't matter as long as East can't win it. West is free to win either the 8 or the queen. I've lost the trick I need to lose. I've chosen who I lost it to. West is not the dangerous opponent. West can't hurt me. And then when I regain the lead, because West can't hurt me, I'll regain the lead. I'll play the ace on this suit, right? Everybody has one. I'll play the king on this suit. Everybody has one. And my last 2 will be good. I've made 2 tricks in the suit by length. And I've chosen by my play in this suit to not let East win the trick. On the other hand, if I decided that West was a dangerous opponent, well, then I would probably start from the other side. I'd lead the 5 from my hand. And whatever West played, if he played the 2, I'd put in the 10. Well, if you put in the 8, I'd put in the 10, right? And that would lose to East's jack. But if East is not dangerous to me, I don't mind that East has won the trick. I had to lose one, but I'm giving up one to the opponent who can't hurt me. Since he can't hurt me, he's going to let me back in with something. I get back in. I play the ace, right? I play everybody follows. I play the king. Everybody follows. And then I have 2 more good diamonds. This won't always work. If the dangerous opponent has the queen and the jack, this particular play won't work. They can force a trick. But it is when the honors are split or when both honors are in the non-dangerous hand, it will work, right? So if I just played off the ace and then the king and then the third one, which is, something that you do when you're trying to set up a suit, you play the ace, you watch, you play the king, you watch, and you play the third one. The trick is I don't know who's going to win the third one, right? In this case, I've given West the queen and West is going to win the third one. And if West is not dangerous, fine. But if West is dangerous, no good, right? So that's why I would do it the other way. I would lose the first trick to the non-dangerous opponent and then play the ace king, right? I have to lose a trick here, but I can choose whether I win the first trick, the second trick, or the third trick, right? So in my case, I want to lose the trick, the first trick to the hand that can't hurt me, to the non-dangerous opponent. All right. So at this point, let's switch over to my other screen, and I'm going to do some demonstration hands here so that we can see the dangerous opponent and the different combinations at work. All right. So our contract here is 3-no trump. Our opening lead is the queen of hearts. And we should take a moment and we should count our losers. Sorry, no trump. Count our winners. That'd be better. Spades. Missing the ace. I have the king. I'm missing the queen, missing the jack, missing the 10. I don't have any spade winners, right? As a matter of fact, I'm a little worried about spades. They didn't lead them. That's good for me, but I'm a little worried about spades. Hearts. I have the ace and the king. That's definitely 2. But the opening lead of the queen does mark West with the jack, and that might give me a third one, right? So let's table that for the moment. Clubs. I have 8 of them to the ace, king, queen with a 3-2 break. I expect I will get 4 club tricks. That's nice. So that's 7 so far. I have the ace, king of diamonds. That's 2, right? That's 9. So I have 9 tricks, but I'm not satisfied with 9 tricks. I want to take the most I can, right? So one place I could find another trick is the heart, right? Because I could let the king of hearts win and then finesse the jack with the ace 10 because West led the queen. He's got the jack. I know where it is, right? And the other thing is in diamonds, I have a 2-way finesse, right? So in diamonds, I could choose to finesse West for the queen. I could choose to finesse East for the queen. Before I make that choice, I should think to myself, okay, which way should I take it? The bidding hasn't told me anything. I don't have any other knowledge. Is one of my opponents dangerous? Well, let's go back to our spades. We're worried about spades on this hand, right? I have the king little in dummy, and I have the 5-4-2 in my hand. So if West were to gain the lead here and decide there's no future in hearts, and he knows it because he can see them in dummy, right? And he were to decide to play a spade, he plays the jack, my king. I try the king, the ace wins, the queen wins, the 9 wins, the 8 wins, the 6 wins. I can't stop it, right? So if West were to gain the lead in spades, that's a problem for me. West is my dangerous opponent. If East gains the lead, East can't effectively play spades because East plays first and North plays last, right? If East plays the ace of spades, I won't play the king. If East plays a low spade, I'll win the king. Either way, they can't hurt me in spades. So when I choose which way to take the diamond finesse here, I'm going to choose to only let East on lead. So let's see how this works. I want to play low from dummy because I want to preserve that ace 10 for my finesse of the jack later. And then I'm going to immediately start working on diamonds. Now, I don't want West to go on lead, right? I'm willing to lose to East. I don't know where the queen is. Well, you do because you're looking at it, but I don't know where the queen is, so I play the ace, right? And then I play the jack, and when West plays low, I play low. And the only person that could win this trick is East. If East has the queen, I'm willing to give it to him because I don't ever want West to gain the lead. Now, it happens that it wins, right? Perfect. Finesses win 50% of the time. So now I have all my diamond tricks, right? And don't forget, I have my heart thing here, right? So I can take my heart finesse. And when I play low, low, if I put the 10 in here and, you know, something weird happened and East won the jack, my king is still protected. He still can't attack spades against me without giving me the spade. So East is the only one that can win this trick, and East is the non-dangerous opponent. West is still dangerous, but it should win because he led the queen. He's got the jack, right? And I take my ace. And I can take all 4 of my club tricks, right? And at the end, I'm going to have to give the opponents 2 spades. I can't stop it. So I started out with 9 tricks, right? And I ended up with 11. And I ended up with 11 because I'm able to finesse the diamond so that East can only win the trick and West cannot win the trick. The dangerous opponent can't beat me. If I do this wrong, right? First of all, if I win the ace, I've given up any chance of, I can never finesse that 10 of hearts later, right? So that's one of those things. You have to understand the position. You have to duck the first heart to your king. You don't have to take the finesse right away, but you have to leave the ace 10 in position over the jack. And let's say I decided to finesse the other way because I thought, well, maybe East has it, right? So I play low to the king just in case the queen is singleton, and then I finesse and it loses. Whoops, and it loses. Okay, West is on lead. Now West is looking at the ace 10 of hearts, and that doesn't look good. Maybe he'd try club, but he's got better spades, so he tries the jack of spades, and my king gets swallowed, right? And the opponents are able to take the first 5 spade tricks against me. and there's nothing I can do about it, right? So unlucky that the finesse lost. It's 50-50, but choosing which way to lose it is more important when you're talking about the dangerous opponent. All right. All right. Let's have a look at another hand. I'm going to skip to number 3 in your packet. I'm skipping over number 2. All right. So here we are in hand number 3 in your packet. Again, 3-no trump. West leads the 6 of hearts, right? Take a moment, count your winners. We're no trump. Ace, king of spades too, right? Hearts. Well, I'm going to end up with a heart winner here because I get to play last of this trick and I have the king, right? So if East plays the ace, I can't win it. If East plays a card lower than the ace, I'll be able to win either the king or the jack. So I'm going to count 1 heart winner. The lead has given me 1 heart winner. So that's 3 total. Ace, king, queen of clubs is 3. That's 6, right? Ace, king of diamonds is 8, right? And I have 9 diamonds between the 2 hands. So that's good for me, right? So I'm going to look to set up diamonds here. All right. So there's not much to do in dummy and hearts. I play low. West plays the 10, and I win the jack. So you do need to consider who is your dangerous opponent here, right? You're a little bit vulnerable in hearts. You've seen the 10 and the jack. You have the king, but you're missing the ace and the queen. And the ace and the queen are likely in the hand that led the suit, right? Because if East had the ace or the queen, he probably would have played one of them to this trick. East third hand high contributed the highest card he had as a 10. So the ace, queen of hearts are very likely sitting behind your king, right? So therefore, who is your dangerous opponent? Your dangerous opponent is the player that can lead through the king, and that is East. If East gains the lead, East plays the 8 of hearts, right? And you play the low one, and the queen wins, and then the ace takes your king. Or East plays a heart, and you pop the king. West plays the ace, the queen takes your other card, and they're off to the races, and they take the remaining hearts, right? So East is dangerous. West is not dangerous, because if West leads the ace of hearts, you won't play your king. If he leads a low heart, you win your king, right? He can't play hearts without you getting a trick. So I'm perfectly willing to lose a card to West. I'm unwilling to lose a trick to East. All right. So let's take a minute and look at the rest of our suits here. Well, there's no tricks and spades to be had other than what we have. We do nothing in clubs other than what we have. Diamonds are the place we're going to work with. So diamonds, you have 9 of them to the ace king, right? You do have a 2-way finesse here. But with 9 of them, the rule is 8 ever, 9 never, right? 8 ever, 9 never means that when you are finessing for the queen, so you have the ace, the king, the jack, and the 10, and you have 9 or more cards in the suit, the proper percentage play is to play off the ace and the king and hope the queen falls. That's the best chance for you. But in this circumstance here, it would be the wrong choice, because I don't ever want to take the chance that East is going to win the lead. And I can make absolutely certain that East cannot win this trick, right? By starting the diamonds and finessing East so that only West can win it, I can, in fact, prevent the opponents from winning their hearts against me. So I win the jack, right? I'm going to play a diamond over to the king. I'm going to finesse East, not West. So I cash the one over there. And then I lead the 10, right? And when East plays low, I play low. And West, as it turns out, cannot win this trick. And then I play another one, and that queen is taken by the ace, right? And I get all the diamonds. Now I got lucky in that the finesse worked, right? And I'm able to take all of those. I'm able to take my ace, king of spades. I'm able to take my 3 clubs. And at the end, I will have to give 2 tricks to the opponents. Nothing I can do about that, right? The opponents are going to win some tricks. It's okay. But by finessing, I made sure that West would be the only one who could win the trick. And East will never gain the lead, because I do not want East to play a heart through my king. If I did it the other way, right? Whoops. So 10 forces the jack, right? If I said, okay, the right play here is to play the ace and the king, that is the percentage play. Don't take the finesse when you have 9 of them. And I played the king. Bad luck, right? They don't split for me, and they won't always split, right? It's not a terribly big difference between finessing and playing for the drop, but playing for the drop is the correct highest percentage. The danger is if East gains the lead, what happens to me? Right? East gets in, East plays a heart, and my king is gone. Right? Or would be if I could play the ace. Okay, and I end up going down. So in this circumstance, what I've done here is I have altered my strategy based on who is my dangerous opponent, from what is the highest percentage choice to a choice that I know will work 100% of the time. I might lose an extra trick more often. I might lose a diamond to West more often than I could have when I could have played the ace king, but I will never lose a trick to East, who is the dangerous opponent. So altering your strategy and playing for a lower percentage play that will allow you to make your contract regardless of distribution is what we call a safety play in bridge, right? We are playing safely. We are choosing to make a slightly anti-percentage play so that they can't defeat our contract, right? All right, let's look at one more hand. So in this one, again, 3-0 chub, opening lead, jack of spades, right? Take a moment, count your winners. South, well, with that lead and the king, queen, I'm definitely going to manage a spade trick here. So 1 spade, ace, king, queen of hearts is 3, that's 4 total. Ace, king of clubs is 2, that's 6 total. Ace, king of diamonds, that's 2, is 8 total. I need one more trick. Where am I going to find that trick? Well, my best place here is diamonds, right? My best case scenario here is diamonds. So I'm gonna, I have 8 of them together. I have the ace king. So if I play the ace, the king, and a third one, I will lose a diamond and I will make 2 good with length, right? So that is the beginnings of my plan. West, West led the jack, right? Dummy plays a low card and we win the queen. So let's think about what West led the jack from. Well, it could have been jack 10-9, right? It could also be ace jack 10. It could have been king jack 10, but I have the king, so it can't be that. So it's either jack 10-9 against 3-0 trump or ace jack 10, right? If East had the ace, it would have been correct for East to go up with the ace here. So East doesn't have the ace, and therefore West has ace jack 10. And if I can deduce that West has ace jack 10, I know that the ace 10 are sitting over my king. And if the ace 10 are sitting over my king, who's the dangerous opponent? Dangerous opponent is East, right? So while I'm playing this hand, I need to desperately avoid losing a trick to East, right? So my plan was to play diamonds, right? So let's try that, right? So I'm going to play the king of diamonds, right? And I'm going to play a diamond over the ace. And I'm going to play a third diamond. And bad things happen, right? Because who wins the diamond but East? And the minute East is in, what does he do? Plays back a spade, right? And my king is sunk. So I let the wrong hand on lead, right? And they're going to take 2 more of these, and I'm going to go down, okay? So how do I stop that? Well, I have some power over the diamond suit. In that I have the ace, the king, I have the 10 and the 9 as well. And I can choose probably who wins the first diamond trick. And if I can choose who wins the first diamond trick, I want it to be West, right? So let's try and make it West. If I play a heart over to the king, right? And I play the 3 of diamonds and I watch and see what East plays. He plays the 2. I can play the 9. If he plays the 8, I can play the 9. Either way, I can ensure that what he plays will not win the trick. If he plays the jack, I'll play the king, right? And then his partner still has the queen over there. The jack would be the wrong play. Second hand low is the right choice over here. So he plays second hand low. I cover it, right? And West is able to win the trick. But West cannot hurt me. If West plays a spade, I win my king. If he plays a low spade, I'll win my king. If he plays the ace, I won't play the king. Likely he'll try something else. He'll say, okay, let me try and get my partner on lead. Best place to try and get my partner on lead is maybe a club, right? Which doesn't work. And now I can play my king, right? Take the second round. I can play a third one, take the third round. And East has been exhausted of diamonds. My 10 and my 7 are good, right? I still have the king of clubs. I still have 2 more heart tricks. And then at the end, I will have to give them 2 spades, but I'm willing to give them 2 spades. I end up losing 1 diamond. I end up losing 2 spades and end up making 10 tricks. So the play in diamonds here, avoiding East winning the trick, gains me 2 tricks, gains me those extra 2 diamonds. If I do it wrong, if I play the ace, the king, and I lose one, or if I lose the first trick to East mistakenly, I go down 1. I take 8 tricks. If I do it correctly, if I play a diamond from the board and cover whatever East plays, I make sure that I win 2 more tricks. Okay. So that's the idea behind the dangerous opponent, is figure out which opponent can hurt you if he gains on lead, and then see if you can alter your play so that that dangerous opponent does not gain the lead. A 2-way finesse might work for you. In this case, we were losing 1 trick, but we were making what we call an avoidance play. We were avoiding East winning the trick. All right. All right. Those are the hand examples. That's our last hand, and I will see you in class.